Hey everyone, Tech OG here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And this video is going to be an extensive review on the Galaxy S9 after having it for pretty much 3 months. I made my first YouTube video 3 months ago showing an unboxing of this phone. And I told you in the video this was has been my first Android phone I've ever owned that I've used as a daily driver. I told you before that I've been an iPhone user ever since the first iPhone, and still believe the iPhone 5 is the best iPhone Apple has ever made, as far as looks and how it feels and things like that. But kind of got bored of the jailbreaking scene and went with the S9, like I said, about 3 months ago. So I want to give you my personal opinion about the phone, what I liked about it, what I didn't like, and this time I took notes, so I just won't be jibber-jabbering, because I want to try to improve my videos and, just get to the point, which I usually do, but I want to get to the point a lot quicker now that I've taken some notes. So, but it's still going to be, basically off the cuff. I just took notes to basically keep track of what I'm talking about. But long story short, just initial thoughts on the phone. Of course, I think it's a wonderful, great looking phone. I definitely like the way it looks. I like the black on it. It's crispy black. Love the black, especially when you turn it off. Super black. Just like any other phone, it's a fingerprint magnet, so I don't need to talk about, the fingerprints and smudges. It's what's expected when you get an all glass front and back phone. So I ain't worried about that. But like I said, just the black. Of course, got your logos and stuff. Of course, the logos are smaller, but it's not very heavy. It's good to feel in hand. The Galaxy phones before this were wider. I like the fact that they made this a lot slimmer, so it fits really good in the hand, like a thin brick, pretty much, a very thin brick. So that's just initial thoughts of the phone, of pulling it out the box. Okay, as far as the phone in general, comparing this to iPhones that I've had, pretty much just like a computer. I've used this basically like I've used an iPhone. So as far as getting phone calls, checking my email, watching YouTube videos, there's not much of a difference as far as what phone you use for those daily tasks, playing games, things like that. So it runs great, no hiccups or anything when it comes to opening up apps or whatnot. The processor is really, really good. The Snapdragon 845, fantastic processor. So fast where it can run a Dolphin emulator, which was tweaks for Android devices. So that is pretty awesome. Like I said, the processor is great. The autofocusing on the camera is fantastic. I've used this to shoot a couple of my YouTube videos, and that autofocus is on point. I really like the autofocus. Like I said, just having the black. I've had this wallpaper on for a while because it's black. Anyway, so as far as, like I said, just your normal daily tasks, this wasn't as different as using an iPhone. So I didn't have any trouble doing my day-to-day tasks on this phone. The things that stick out about this phone over an iPhone, what I would call the pros, or the things I like. The first thing I like is that you can customize this out the box. So you don't need to root the phone. And root is the term for Android that jailbreaking is for iPhones. You don't have to root it in order to get themes or change your icons or even change your font. You can do that right out of the box. They even have themes, icons, and even fonts in the Google Play Store. So they're readily available for you to use to customize this phone the way that you want to have it look. So that's kind of cool. They even have like whole themes, such as I'm using right now Nova Launcher. And with Nova Launcher, I was able to put all my apps in the one itty bitty folder. And then in that one folder, I got all my other folders. So let's focus here. So I got shopping, essentials, shows, utilities, travel, to-do list, reading, games, emulators, even though they're both kind of the same. I just want my emulators in one folder. Like I said, I have everything organized in one folder. So they're just readily available and I can find them quickly rather than going through or scrolling through the app drawer. So I like it like this a whole lot better. So they're readily accessible. Another thing about this phone that edges the iPhone, it's open source. So pretty much anybody and their grandma can make an app for this phone and submit it in the Play Store. I don't know too much about apps being rejected, but there's been a lot of apps that have been accepted, just made by anybody, which is cool. So even a kid, if they know how to program or code, can make an app and put it in the Play Store. Like I've already mentioned, this phone is sleek. It feels good in the hands. I like the way that it's slimmed down. I know that earlier Galaxy phones were kind of fat, especially the Notes were kind of fat, as far as width. But I like the slim down. I like the sleekness of it. And even though it's more sleek and everything, it still has a lot of real estate on it. So it still has a lot of screen that apps can fill up. And that's thanks to the edge-to-edge display. So the edge-to-edge display makes this really, really look cool. I mean, you can't get this on an Apple phone. I mean, probably with the iPhone X you can. But this right here, just with a regular iPhone, you can't get that because the bezels are huge. Bezels in here, you barely see them on the top and on the bottom. That's what makes this phone really, really cool because you get a whole lot of real estate. Look at the real estate when looking at Facebook. Look at the real estate. That's my cousin. Look at that real estate. Look at all that. Look at all that. That is delicious to look at. Too delicious. So you got a whole lot of real estate, a whole lot of screen for your apps to fill. So like I said, that's thanks to the edge-to-edge display. So that really makes this phone stand out over an iPhone, except for the X. Well, it has that notch on the top, so we can talk about that later. So, yeah, this being open source, and because it is open source, another thing that this has that's over the iPhone, you can play your emulators right out the box. In fact, the emulators are right in the Play Store. So you can get them for free, or you can get the pro versions and buy those. I bought SSPP Gold. I bought Retro 8. So I don't have to get the ads or whatever. So like I said, the emulators are readily available in the Play Store. You will not find any emulators, at least from my knowledge, in the App Store. I don't think Apple condones that, so like I said, that's a huge advantage of the Android phones and the Play Store, that you can use emulators right out of the box and download them from the Play Store. Another thing I like that's on here, the fingerprint reader on the back, I like that. It's pretty cool. I mean, usually on iPhones you press on the front, but with this, because you usually hold it like this anyway, put your hands and fingers on the back, just put your finger on, boom, opens right up. I like that. And I believe you open it a lot quicker by using your finger on the back than your thumb on the front. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, it feels good on the hands. I mean, that's not a big advantage, but it just feels really, really good Sometimes too good where it might slip out of your hand because it's so sleek. The utility apps in here are pretty cool. And what I mean by utility apps, I'm using this one called, where is it? All-in-one gestures. So you see these things on the side, these little gray areas on the side? So instead of me using the bar on the bottom to go back and show recent apps, I use these. This is part of all-in-one gestures. I can use this right here. Go back, as you can see, and this right here, by swiping, to show all the apps that I've used. So I don't necessarily use the bar on the bottom at all. So like I said, the utility apps, though, that's very cool to do. Like I said, so you got your Edge here, plus you got your all-in-one. So if you didn't want to just keep swiping up and then pressing back and then recent apps, you can just put it right there and ready to go. And you can actually increase the sensitivity, increase the area to swipe. So it's pretty cool. So that was just one example of utility apps that I use. There's a whole lot more that you can use. I'm using the men icons. I like them really small, so it's all good, all dandy. Air battery, I already told you about that in the video. Zedge is pretty cool as far as getting different wallpapers, yada yada yada. Yeah, so the utility apps are really, really awesome. And let me tell you the things that I particularly did not like about this phone. The first thing I didn't like, and I'll show it to you, settings. Settings, it has a lot of information for you to learn about your phone. Being a novice, being a first time user, it's kind of hard to, go through all of this and read about what does what and test things out and see what does what. That's not really cool for a novice user. You know what I'm saying? If you, for you advanced users, for those who've been with Samsung for a while, you're used to this, setting screen. So you could probably go through it and, modify this, that, the other. But for somebody like me who just got this 3 months ago, I haven't even been through half of the stuff in the settings. So I couldn't even tell you half of the things that this phone can do. I mean, as far as that split screen, for example, I learned how to do that. I really haven't used it because I like the whole screen. So all the different things that the phone offers, like I said, I probably even haven't begun to learn what this phone can actually do. However, to have all this information, it should have been a lot less, but in a way to show a novice user, how to, use the basic things on the phone and keep it, as simple as possible. Yes, I do know that this has an easy mode. Haven't used it because that would have been dumbing down the phone. So I kept it like this. But like I said, it's just a lot of reading. You just gotta go through every single thing here. And not just that, you got menus on the menu. So you sometimes might have more settings in your settings. So you gotta click on that to learn even more stuff. It's a lot. So that's one thing I definitely don't like about the phone. It's too much to learn. It'll take you a while. Oh, the biggest thing. Battery drain. Good Lord. I can have this charged all night, unplug it, get ready to go. As soon as I unplug it, it gets down to 99%. I mean, I didn't even use it for like 2 seconds and it drains. I don't necessarily know what's draining the battery. I mean, I even got it on a certain battery level. So I don't have it on the highest battery level. I got it on mid. Now, I changed a lot of settings. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube to change the settings and everything to, make the battery last a little bit longer. But even with these settings, it still drains. And that drives me incredibly nuts. I'm not trying to get a battery case for this. That's going to make this, twice as heavy. Don't need all that. So that right there needs to be improved, Samsung, or whoever else makes Android phones. Improve the battery life. I think in particular why this drains a lot is because of all the features that are on and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They have to be on because the phone doesn't know when you're going to actually use it, so that's why it's always on. So that when you do want to use it, such as the taking a picture of your screen or whatnot, it has to be always on. And I think because it's always on, it's draining the battery. So a lot of things on this phone drains the battery, and that needs to be improved big time. Because they keep trying to increase the battery size. Even though they increase the battery, it still drains. So no matter how big the battery gets, it's still going to drain, and people are still going to be unhappy with the battery drain. So definitely try to figure out how to keep more battery in your phone and have a lot of cool gestures on it. Another thing that is a big, and I mean big no-no on here, the malware, ransomware, viruses, and all that other stuff that you can get on this phone. I mean, for example, I was just on Facebook, and I happened to see an article about Samsung versus Apple, and I was reading the article, and then all of a sudden, boom, a pop-up ad came out at me. So I had to get out of it and then go back into it, and then after a few more seconds, another ad popped up, and that was driving me completely nuts. As a matter of fact, with some people's Android phones, those ads, they get stuck in the memory, and so you could just be on your home screen, and an ad can pop up there. That right there is absolutely annoying. There's not a lot of ad blocking software out there. Your best ones, your best ad blocks, of course, will be your VPNs, or even better, if your phone was rooted, you can get an ad blocker and block everything if it was rooted. But guess what? US phones, US Android phones now can't be rooted. This can't be rooted, so you're going to be stuck on ads for the rest of your life with this phone. So that right there, huge no. Can't stand it. Didn't get pop-up ads on my iPhone. Not one. Another thing that I didn't like about the phone, even though the camera's good, it's not as good as iPhone. And here's where I can do a little comparison. Oops. So let me go to the camera app, and let me put it side by side with an iPhone that I've had for a minute. This is my iPhone 6, and not just any iPhone 6. This iPhone is jailbroken and untethered. I'll explain more of that in another video, but this phone right here was my pride and joy. Still is one of my pride and joys. I bought this before I bought the S9, so I think I bought this last summer, I believe so. So this phone is just cool. Like I said, I needed an untethered phone, so I got this on eBay. Paid like $350, $360 for it, blah, blah, blah. Was it worth it? Heck yeah, it was. I love jailbroken iPhones. Plus, it's lighter. You want this wallet on the back, it's lighter than this. So let me get to the camera app. Like that, no animations. So with the camera app, comparing both, as mentioned in other people's videos, the iPhone camera shows more natural colors than the Samsung phone. As you can see, if you've seen a Surface Book before, you know how gray it is. This shows the gray color of the Surface Book a lot better than this one. Yes, this one's brighter, I get that. More light is going inside the aperture or the camera lens, so it gets more light. So that's kind of cool, where your picture will be bright. But this one just shows better color quality, better realistic color quality. So what I've done was I've taken a couple of pictures of the room. It's funny that you gotta swipe differently. You gotta swipe to the left on the Samsung phone and swipe to the right on the iPhone. Crazy. So I'm taking a phone of the same picture, or the same object. So this one, again, it's lighter. This is in the same room, same brightness. This one just shows more realistic colors. This one is definitely bright. So if you want to see your pictures, then definitely this camera will do better as far as seeing the pictures, and definitely better at low light situations, because of course it's a way newer phone than the iPhone 6, but still the iPhone 6 wins on capturing real to eye colors. When you increase the size, you'll get your little pixelation, but that's still kind of clear for an iPhone 6. And this one has what, a 12 megapixel camera? Just as clear, but you can get even closer because of the pixelation. Like I said, both cameras pretty good at the zoom. This one's better because it's newer. Let's see, do I have another picture? I think I got another one. Yeah, I took another picture at it with it zoomed. Just give me a second, try to find it. There we go. So with it zoomed, you can still see the wording. It gets a little blurry, but at least you can still see it. So that's not too bad for, what's this, a 4-year-old phone? And with this one, pretty much the same thing, but because of the better pixelation, still get a little blurry, but not as blurry as that one, just a tad bit clear because of the better pixelation, but both take pretty good zoom pictures. But I like the iPhone's camera as far as capturing color. I like this camera as far as capturing light. So if I had to pick a camera, I picked the iPhone camera because I want my pictures to look as real as possible. Another thing that I don't like about the Samsung Galaxy S9, the bootloader is locked. And because it's locked, even if you wanted to try to root this, you can't do it. You can't do it for any of the carriers. In order for you to get a rooted S9, you have to buy an international version. And the international versions usually just work on the GSM networks. So T-Mobile and AT&T, they'll work for those networks. So they will not work for Verizon and Sprint. But maybe Sprint soon, since T-Mobile bought Sprint, so who knows in the future. But as far as right now, Verizon and Sprint cannot be used on international versions of the phone. So if you have T-Mobile like I have, then you have an opportunity of getting a rooted phone. And you got to make sure that the processor is the Exynos processor. Now, the international version uses both processors. It depends on the region you're in. So certain regions use the Exynos, and that's the one that you want to get as far as getting it rooted, because it's completely open for you to root. The Snapdragons, you can root those too, but from what I've read on the internet and watching on YouTube, the Exynos processor, S9 is the one that you want to get as far as rooting your phone. So if you're in the US, you are tough out of luck unless you downgrade and find phones that were made in the US that can be rooted. But again, you're downgrading, so you're not getting the latest and greatest cameras, processors, and things like that. If you can live with that and you want root, then definitely downgrade or purchase an international version of the S9 if you have T-Mobile or AT&T. And the last thing that I didn't like about this, as I already mentioned while looking through the settings, the user interface, or the user experience, is not as easy as the iPhone. iPhone is just phone. I mean, aside from the jailbreaking where you can tweak this to make it look as cool as you want it to look, as you can see my dock moves, that's a Infinity dock. Oh, I missed that app. Or tweak, I should say. So, aside from that, when you just install apps on here, they just appear on the home screen and you just use it. The settings, it's not that extensive at all. So that is my extensive review on the S9. I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, of course, leave questions, comments in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the S9, and if you are an Android user and went to Apple, tell me about your experiences of this phone, and which one you like better as far as what each phone does. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.